minute. So if you need a book recommendation for the challenge, our next guest has you covered. Joining me now is Victoria Halton, a poet and author. Victoria, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. I understand that your poet name is Defining. Talk to me about how we got that name.
Well, actually, I'm sorry, but I'm a silly person. But defining came from it just more so stuck out. It wasn't an initial thing that made it become me. It was something I grasped to.
Okay. And how old were you when you first started writing your poetry?
I was 13. I had a teacher named Mrs. Lawrence, and she told me to write a poem, and we all had to write one about ourselves. But instead, I took a poem from a different book that I knew it wasn't mine. And she told me, she was like, listen, I've read this poem before. And she ended up sitting me down and said, I want you to write about your actual life.
Yeah.
And when she did that, it made me open up a whole new door.
Wow.
And it made me also realize that poetry is therapy. It's therapeutic.
It's so beautiful. And I understand that we have 3 other books here with us.
Yeah, I have a lot of things in store.
Talk to me a little bit about your journey to becoming a published poet.
Oh man, that has been an experience that's undefined sometimes, because I got to meet with a lot of talented, inspirational poets. Like, I have a friend that's really great at poetry. His name is Geronimo.
Okay.
He's a tattoo artist as well, but he is an amazing storyteller with his poetry. So
Okay.
me and him collab together all the time, and we go do shows together.
Okay.
So
yeah, absolutely amazing. And then We the People family, we have an amazing treat for you. Victoria is actually going to share with us a poem called Escape. So, Victoria, I'll let you take it away.
I was constantly asked, why are you often laughing and rarely taking things serious? Well, I get serious. I just don't continue to look at things in a childlike manner, like getting angry over simple happenings that could be comprehensible to discuss. Also understand that your question doesn't describe me, it's just only your opinion. Because I experience life differently. I've almost had my body in the ground, and my prison was a personal confinement built within me. Although I didn't hold myself accountable for the sentence, I just needed to understand why the things that I was envisioning is, my jailer was my thoughts. My bars was my fear and anxiety. My shackles was made out of worry, and my chains were burdens that I had not yet addressed. Seeing the mild smoke that clouded memories had no comparison to how many blunt turns it took to get there. Like how I went ahead and left myself in the wrong hour, as my walls were made out of doubt, feelings, and emotions. Although I always knew I had the power to control them, yet instead I only wrote them, leaving the things that now makes me a mystery. Because my weakness is kept backstage, but my strength can always capture the attention. See, I had a moment where I've wasted everything for everyone. Even my relationships will have years of happiness before ever being broken. And at that time, I just didn't know how to restore them, so my reactions were determined by the dominance I had to show. So while I was still learning how to manage and control them, my laughter was my escaping hatch after the hurtful words that was occasionally spoken. I was confident that love would periodically save me, until I love you was sometimes used as a game for a short moment, but then my cell was made of hatred when holding everything inside, and my fear of having selfish freedom kept reminding me to stay confined. I learned to be knowledgeable of my feelings and my habits. Even though I know I could be my own worst enemy, it felt right because sometimes I was my own greatest obstacle. See, I was already pre-equipped to do everything with a smile, because my wardens was my insecurities. Jealousy gave me no chance to shine, so I couldn't find a possible way to escape my mind. My emotions was ultimately my perspective. So when the many times I've lost them, not knowing the direction, I would just find a place away from the mirror, because some people would never understand my unholy sins, only take them and just judge them. As I walk through life still strong, because my heart's always in motion. Yet I was the one that created this invisible prison that I inhibited at that moment, blaming it on never having enough love, because I was experiencing a constant view of divergence. I just know that I've had enough passion spoken, that my marching resistance has crossed lines to have pain avoided, but now I hold myself in a higher regard. My emotions are no longer my limitations. My darkness behind the bars are non-existence once I seen how my cell was my comfort zone. My regret, my sadness, my steel door made from my attitude, my pre-made expectations of disappointments to come, my belief of no need for a religion. My cell was my brain surrounded by disloyalty. Yet my life has always been what I make of it, and I am the only one who has the keys to unlock any door in me, for my heart's belief, choices, and desires. See, I stand free from the cage that has always kept the door open. while I continue to walk into a better me that I know is more worth it.
Absolutely amazing. I think that snaps are appropriate. I love that. That was poet and author Victoria Halton, who also goes by Defining. If you're looking for more information, or if you want to hear more from Defining, you can find her on Instagram at Tattoo Lady V, or on YouTube under Defining Poet. Her books are also available at Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. And of course, it is time for prizes. The first 3 viewers to email We the People with the subject line poetry will win one of Victoria's books. Again, that email address is wethepeople@wkyc.com. And don't go away. This is We the People. We will have more after this very short commercial break.